Thokozani. 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 Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from. Please say hello as you come in. Write something so I know that... there's somebody. So you guys can hear me, right? I can see better. This is it. Can you guys hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Ninjani. It's been a while. Yo. Sanbanan. Hello. Viola, hello. Thokozani, Robert, Thokoza. Whoa, man, it's been a while. Yo, I have not been here in a while. I had forgotten all these amazing people. Magdalene, how are you? Nomnigelo Ninjani. Thank you. All the way from Cape Town. Sanbonani. Yo. I feel like I'm reuniting with long-lost friends. Ninjani, please tell me how everyone has been doing. Rebecca, Ninjani. It's been ages, I know. Charity, how are you? Thank you so much for coming. Yo, guys, it's been a minute. It's been a long minute. I'm a little late because I had to dash off to the post office. I had things that I needed to send off for people. But I'm here. And you're here. Isn't that great? It's doing silly camera. There we go. So Ninjani, guys, it's been too long. Let's see. Yes, thank you. It's nice to see you guys again. It's nice to actually sit and do this. Mchembere, hello. Magadiko, a bullet, the ambassador. Zitaracho. The name. How is everybody doing? How is everybody? Tony, Toela, Realo, Chakoko. Ow, Siapi, like Eluboha. It's been so long. I sat here just before I pressed live and I'm like, we're doing this. We're doing this after so long. Lovukazi, boniwe, thokoza gogo, ninjani. I miss you. It's no secret that I was in South Africa, which is probably why you guys didn't see me for so long, because when I'm in South Africa, I kind of get fully immersed in what is going on there, number one. And number two, issues of load shedding. Oof. I get tired of fighting with the electricity or the non-existence of electricity when I need it. So I sort of I stopped promising that I will teach or come live. Deborah, how are you? I missed you guys too. Eish. You see, now I just want to sit here and talk to you guys. But I came with a topic. I came prepared. First and foremost, guys, in person, can I just say we are in the second month, the second season of the African calendar year. And I want to say Happy New Year. We can still say Happy New Year until March. That's what I've told myself. So Happy New Year to you guys. What a time to be alive. There's so much going on. I wish I could show you the things I see. I will do my best to try to share with you some of the experiences that I've been through and some of the experiences that literally show that we are living in a truly spiritual age, the age of Ma'at, the age of Aquarius, the age of the divine feminine. We are squarely in it. There's no question about that. One of the hallmarks of this age is everything that was wrong being made right, right? Because remember that this has been a 2000 plus year cycle, which has come to an end. And we've moved into a new cycle. And this new cycle that we've moved into is literally taking us back to the way things were. Now, that's not going to be easy, and it's certainly not going to be overnight. Remember, 2,000 years is a long time. I'm hoping that this is my last incarnation as a human so that I can be wherever I am and watch this unfold, because lots of interesting and exciting things are unfolding. One of which, of course, is the awakening of Bhagwantu to the truth of who they really are. I think for me, that is the major highlight of this age so far. Who knows what else Spirit has in store for us. But I love what is going on with Abantu. I love the idea that for me, given my age, for the first time in my life, I'm experiencing Abantu questioning things. I'm experiencing Abantu being critical. I'm seeing Abantu not just accepting things they hear from whoever as the truth, but actually searching for the truth, searching for real, authentic knowledge, and then even testing that knowledge with their own knowing, right? Anyone can write a book. Anyone can come on here and tell you something. But if your own inner knowing doesn't resonate with what you're hearing, then throw it out. Because everything that you need to know, all truths are deep within you. You've just forgotten it. And so when you hear a new piece of information, or you're confronted with what someone calls the truth, test it within yourself. If it is true, you will hear it. It's that DNA memory that's going to be sparked, and you will hear it. If it's nonsense, you will hear that it's nonsense. Then discard it. Right? So for me, this age has been characterized by Bhagwantu trusting their own knowing more and more. That is true liberation. That is true freedom. Where you no longer put your life in the hands of another human being who is just like you. Or worse still, when you put your hands into a being that is lesser than you, right? When you put your life into the hands of a being that is, as Mkhulu Singis, I will say, a Fong Kong of a human. Because umuntu, the only true children of Ntu, are Tina, Nobuntu, Vetu, Ntu, our melanin. So anyone who falls out of that, first and foremost, yingane, meaning that they are way younger than us. You know, those other Niles creatures are about 6,000 years old on this planet. And in the time that they've been here, look at the mess they've created. The others are maybe slightly older, plus minus. But Oksalayo, we are millennia old. Right? We're as old as this entire universe itself, which is why when someone says to you, the universe is within you, you are the universe. They're not just saying that as a metaphor that makes you go, oh my God, that's so beautiful. They're telling you the truth. As above, so below. You are a literal incarnation of that which is in the ethers. You are a literal incarnation of the neter, or the energies, or the principles that created this entire universe. How's that? So seeing Bagwantu slowly come into this knowledge and embrace it, and then watching the transformation that happens after you embrace. As soon as you embrace this knowledge, you move different, man. You move in the world different. Your perspective and the way you view the world changes totally once you really embrace this knowledge of who you truly are. So for me so far, and this is an experience I had when I went home, is seeing this, observing and experiencing other abantu who now know who they are. Imnandi lento le. It's nice, it's delicious. So, on that note, yes, we are the parent. And we are the parent, and it's almost like you are the parent, but then you have these kids that you look at and you're like, do they come? How are we even related? Oh, we must be related somewhere, somehow, because we can mate and produce children. Usually, what distinguishes one species of being from another is that they cannot reproduce. They cannot mate and reproduce, right? But asikho lapho. Today, I wanted us to talk about the goddess of the sky. She's called the goddess of the sky, by the way, alongside Nut, which makes sense because remember, Unut is cosmic mother, right? She is the birther of all things in the cosmos. That's Unut. Tina singabantwana baka Nut. We are the children of Nut Untu, if you like, right? So Hetu is the principle or energy of fertility. If you're looking for an ultra feminine, sensuous, sexy, joyful, beautiful, actually one of her names is Nobuntu. That is how she's called. AmaZulu bambiza ngu no, not Nobuntu, Nobuhle. Nobuhle. Because she represents beauty, sensuality, sexuality, love, union, fertility, abundance, joy. She's patron of the arts, so music, dance, drumming. In actual fact, one of the symbols that she's often seen holding is an ancient instrument called the sistrum. And the sistrum, your modern day sistrum would be, what do you call this? The tambourine. Yeah, that kind of thing. So we are squarely in her season. And as you can see, I'm turquoised out because her color is turquoise. So, and interestingly enough, one of my favorite colors of all is turquoise. So I have a lot of turquoise jewelry. I have a lot of turquoise dresses and scarves. So this season, I'm Hetu incarnate. Hetu is the sister to Isis, and sometimes she is depicted as the mother of Isis. Auset. Guys, if I say one of those Greek bastardization names, you must put some put those shooting things. What do you call them? Those that resemble a gunshot. Okay, shoot me already because asikho lapho. So she is considered the sister to Auset uNomkhubulwane, and which makes sense, right? What I will talk about in another is this issue of sisterhood, and take a look at those two. And it's not actually just those two, but there's three of them, because remember, Hetu, uMvundisikazi, is often called the Eye of Ra. She's the daughter of Ra, but also called the Eye of Ra, who, remember when there was a time when, according to the Kemetic story, when people were not living in Ma'at, where people were not listening to Jehuti, who is the mouthpiece of Ra. So people were immoral, unethical, and all. And Ra saw this and sent Heteru out, and Heteru shape-shifted and became Sekhmet. And she went slashing and burning in excess. And in order to stop her, they had to give her wine to get her drunk so she'd stop killing people. And it had to be red wine to resemble blood because she was bloodthirsty. So at some point, I'd love for us to do a teaching on sisterhood and compare these three energies or principles in terms of what it is for Indlovukazi to be in sisterhood together. And maybe also look at why it is when we fight, when Indlovukazi fight, yeah, you know. If you know, you know, right? So you guys will be tasked with reminding me. Actually, let me write this down. Sisterhood. And look at those three. Set, Heteru, and Sekhmet. Now, as we are ushering in this season, ushered in on October the 23rd, I thought we would start with something that's very important. And why I wanted us to do this live in particular is because I'd like us to look at, we've got the full moon coming up on Saturday. Now, these two sisters, right? We've got uNomkhubulwane and uMvundisikazi. Boom. Imagine how powerful that is. And I wanted to extend an invitation for this full moon coming. I'm going to Patla, but I'm already hearing what kind of ritual we are going to do. Individually, of course. And there are those of us who do collective ritualing every season of the moon. But this one is particularly potent because you have these two sisters together. And the full moon is a time, as we know, of letting go. We're releasing, right? We're letting go. And I wanted to really extend an invitation. And I'm prepared and quite happy to guide those who want to do this in a more personal way to doing some healing around RAPE and those kind of issues that have left Indlovukazi totally messed up. Why is this healing so important? It's so important because if Indlovukazi don't heal at that deep level, all these things that we are trying to attain as a collective of Bagwantu will not happen. And I'm not going to say they're going to be hard, because the truth is they won't happen. Indlovukazi who are called at this time in this age of Indlovukazi, this age of Ma'at, this age of the divine feminine, it is Indlovukazi who are called now to take back leadership roles, especially in the spiritual space. If we take back leadership role in the spiritual space, then you will see a ripple effect of Indlovukazi taking back leadership in all other spaces. This is not me saying this, Umoya. It is what it is, and there might be people who feel some type of way about it, but that means you're in your ego and you need to do some healing work, because the idea of Indlovukazi taking the role that rightfully belongs to them in the spiritual space should be welcomed by everybody, because just look at the mess that the world is in right now and then tell me that men have done a great job. Tell me that. I'm waiting. So some of these truths are only difficult for you to swallow if you are in your ego. Some of these truths will be difficult for you to swallow if you are a man in your ego or a woman in your ego, because believe you me, there are some women who are so full of self-hate that hearing what I am saying triggers them. I just want to say this to the sisters who feel that way. You don't need to curry favor with the masculine anymore. Their time's done. Because a lot of you come here and talk and bash fellow women because somehow you think that you will curry favor with men. It's of no use because their time is up. Okay? So I'm going to just, I'm laying it as it is. And if the shoe fits, wear it and then adjust it. Okay? Fix it. So, here we are in this beautiful season, and that's my invitation. So I will wait to hear from you. You can DM me, you can message me if we need to create a group whereby I can walk you through the healing process. That would be great. The sooner we do it, the better, so that you can gather the things that you need for your little journey. And by the way, it's a journey. It is not, it's a process. It's not an event. However, it is a process that we can start with this full moon and use that potent feminine energy to then carry you through the rest of your healing journey. So that's the invitation. Now, just talking in terms of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Many of you will remember that I say this all the time when we talk about these energies or principles. We are all made up of what is masculine and what is feminine. That is why your brain has two halves, a masculine half and a feminine half. This is why your spinal cord has two columns. One column, which is a masculine, and another column, which is the feminine. It is the duality that you find in nature. If you go anywhere in nature, you will see a female cow and a bull. You will see a sheep and you will see a ram, right? This is just the duality in nature. And so what does that tell you about the interplay for us Bagwantu between the masculine and the feminine? It is not just an interplay or a dance that happens within you as an individual woman or you as an individual man, but it is an inter-human dance between men and women, right? So what causes the disharmony in this dance? What causes the missteps in this dance? What causes one partner to step on the other partner's feet when they are in this dance? A lot of it has to do with the misalignment of the divine masculine and feminine in the individual first. That is why I'm always saying, heal yourself first. Come to terms with who you are first before you go seeking out partnership with someone else. Now, I've said that healing is a journey. It is a process, not an event. So I can hear someone saying, yo, it means I must wait until I am 88 or 89 years old before I can get into partnership with someone. That's not what I mean. What I mean, though, is when you become aware of the fact that you are composed of a masculine and a feminine energy, or masculine and feminine energies, because there are lots of these energies and principles that make us up. You just need to look at the calendar, right? Where we have the 12 principles. We are composed of all those, right? To varying degrees based on what season you were born in and what the predominant energy or principle was, right? So some of those are males, some of those are female energies. And when we talk about male or female energies, please don't just reduce it to gender, guys. Please don't reduce it to like, don't reduce it to organs, okay? Please, do not reduce it to the organs, because if you reduce it to the organs, I'm telling that. We need to elevate and come out. Oh, somebody's laughing. We need to elevate and come out of this physical way of looking at things and start looking at things from a spiritual perspective. The reason I'm laughing is because I just had one of my daughters, we were talking about ISIS, and there, I did it again. Where are the shooting signs? Shoot me! I did it! It's because my kids were reading off of Google, and so I was talking to them, and they kept talking about ISIS and Osiris. So please forgive me. It's not me. Blame my kids. But one of my girls, one of my 17-year-old twins says to me, Mom, I said, what? She says, we have a problem. I said, what is the problem? She says, you know, incest is wrong. I said, of course. She says, but Isis and Osiris were brother and sister. I'm like, I knew exactly where she was going. She's like, but then they married each other and they had a kid. So I said to her, Nana, you need to stop seeing these energies and principles as humans. She says, no, but it says it. It says it here. If they're not human, why do we have them depicted as human? So I had to go back to explain to her that no, this is the manner in which our ancestors explained science so that everybody could understand it. This is esoteric knowledge that could only have ever been accessed by initiates and scholars of the mystery schools. And so in order to make it understandable to everybody, they had to use what is easy for us humans to understand, which is a male, a female, the animals in nature, and of course, sex. So she's like, so they didn't do the deed and give birth to... I said, no, that... So I had to then explain it to her. And I know some of y'all are laughing, but I know some of y'all have fallen into that trap of believing that these energies or principles were real human beings. And look, for storytelling purposes and for simplification, that is okay. But that's why I said don't reduce everything to the organs, because otherwise we can get into some serious trouble, okay? Because then, you know, that all these principles were, you know, were iffy, if you want to put it that way. All right. So this dance, like I was saying, between the masculine and feminine, and I've had men say to me, you know, so how do I go about healing my feminine side? How do I go about even accepting that I have this feminine side? And I said, well, it really all starts with deprogramming yourself from the things that you have taken in from, sometimes from since you were a child, about what a woman is and what a man is. Remember, and I want to use this as a very important teaching point. In our languages, and I'm going to use isiZulu and Karanga because they depict this so clearly. There is no gender. So, umuntu, ngumuntu, right? The words in Chikaranga for a woman are munu kazi, meaning umuntu, and then you are a female. And kazi actually doesn't mean female. It means first human, the prime first human, munu kazi, first human. Then munu rume, meaning the male, munu rume. So ngesizulu bathi umuntu wesifazane, umuntu wesilisa. Umuntu is the primary thing we focus on. Ubuntu bakho. You are human first before you are differentiated into either male or female. So if you're trying to deprogram your misogyny, or you're trying to get to a place where you can accept that you are actually both male and female, and predominantly female for that matter, science says it, you will need to go back to first principles of umuntu, ngumuntu first, before they are distinguished as anything else. Umuntu wesifazane, umuntu wesilisa, munu kazi, munu rume. If you go back there, meaning you start maybe literally being conscious of the fact that when you have a woman, say you're a man, in front of you, you have a human being in front of you who happens to be female. Same with you as a divine feminine. When you're confronted with a man in front of you, become conscious of the fact that you have a human being first before you have a male person. Our problem is we are now subconsciously defining masculinity and femininity based on our distorted worldview and the pain that we've experienced at the hands of either women or men. Does that make sense? So the healing starts when we go back to understanding that lo ome phambi kwami ngumuntu qala. Don't distinguish them as male or female instantly. Your programming will make you do that. And that programming is dangerous because if your experience of women is negative, when a woman is in front of you, the first thing that narrative that plays is the narrative where you denigrate, the narrative where you disrespect, the narrative where they are less than you, the narrative where they are whatever else you want to call women based on your experience. Now, also remember, your experience is very, very minute. Your own personal experience of the divine feminine or the divine masculine is very, very tiny in a world that is full of men and women. So sometimes you need to exit your own little experience, which could be so full of trauma and pain and horror. Just exit that and then start to look around and realize that actually there are a lot of different women or men out there. So here's a challenge. As we get into this season of uMvundisikazi, let us look at those. I know I've said a mouthful, but let us start to see one another as human beings first. Let's take it a step further. Let us start seeing one another with a spiritual eye that recognizes that This person in front of me is a spirit first that happens to be inhabiting a human body. And that this person who is spirit in front of me is nothing more than an extension of me, because both of us are literally offshoots or extensions of Creator. Let's start there. Yeah? Let's start there by literally starting to see one another as spirits having a human experience. And let's see how that shifts your perspective. Now, we meet all sorts of spirits having human experiences out there. And the way in which those spirits are expressing themselves in human form can be triggering, can be infuriating, can be enraging. But look, the call of spirituality now is ascension and love. Now, by love, I don't mean that you should go around being everybody's doormat. But I do mean this. Given what Abantu on this planet have been through, extend some compassion to some of the behaviors that you are seeing out there. Silimele. And if you can acknowledge with compassion how hurt umuntu wonke, myself included, is, we have a starting point for collective healing. You know? So that's the challenge as we start this season. To heal your divine feminine, to be able to see the other as a spirit who's an extension of yourself, because you're both connected to Creator, because you're both extensions of Creator. And in the physical, to see umuntu before you define them based on whether they're male or female. Let's see if we can do that. And in the next one, we can maybe dissect a little bit more about uHetu, uMvundisikazi, meaning to nurture, you know, to give that potent energy to grow something. We can take a look at that. It's a huge one, right? It's a huge topic. In fact, for me, to be honest, in the calendar year, after my experience of this season last year, I would say that in terms of healing, Tina Bagwantu, the season of Hetu is a critical one. We talk about Asa. Asa is when everything is greening. uMvuseleli, that is the energy, uMvuseleti, the energy that causes things to come back to life. Great, and we're getting back into activity. But I find that the energy of Hetu, this season, powerful healing can take place, both on an individual, but more importantly for us as Abantu, on a collective level. So I really hope that you've gained something from this live. I'm going to save it so that if you want, you can come back to it. Yeah. I'm hearing that I need to stop here because I've said a mouthful so that this can be a point of just reflection. And if Spirit allows, I will come back tomorrow with a part 2. Interestingly, I wasn't even thinking, but something made me write part 1 on this. So then tomorrow I will come with a part 2, if Spirit allows. If Spirit says they're still marinating, then I will probably come back on Friday. Ne? But I wanted to say, I love you guys. Thank you for giving me an hour of your evening, your afternoon, your morning, wherever you may be. And thank you for saying yes, you know. There are many who are still running from themselves, but I appreciate those who are no longer running from themselves because I understand what you're saying yes as an individual adds to the big yes of the collective. So on that note, have yourselves a great evening and see you either tomorrow or Friday. Masithokozeni.